Congratulations, everyone. We're gonna have a little stream. What? I have a little bit of a stream this evening, just a little bit, and yeah, a couple hours hopefully. We'll see what happens. If we get a little more in, then we'll get a little more in. If we can't, then so be it. But we're in the dark. We're playing a dark mode. So hopefully you guys are down with that. It's that or I turn the camera off altogether. Either way is fine with me. I just my head is bothering me, and I would rather live in the land with the least amount of light possible. The least amount of light possible. Anyhow, we're back on Sir Lona. We're level 16, which means 14s, which means giant hold goodies. Like the easiest things to do. Tor, Madstone, Pop. Then we'll kind of go from there. Those are the easy decisions. So we're gonna postpone any difficult decisions until later. Yeah, it seems correct to me. Do we have gear at level 16 that we care about? I severely doubt it. We'll check in general. I don't want to have to go through extra loading screens if I can help it. So, for those of you who don't know how my personal migraines work, it starts with the left eye. The whole area on the eye gets really, really like sore, like pressure is building up, like the eye wants to pop out of my head, right? Just pop out. And then when it starts to get even worse, it'll transfer over to this temple. And that's usually about the top of what I wanted, like I'm willing to deal with. So most of the day, actually, I've just had to deal with the pain here over this eye, and now it's starting to actually bother me over here on the temple. I was actually feeling a lot better, but now I'm starting to wonder if we're just going to end up getting more problematic later. Hey Smash, welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, of course we have a gear upgrade at 16. I'm dumb. We get a bigger swashbuckler is what we get. So let's make sure all of our swashbuckler goodness is upgraded here. But yeah, like I said, I was feeling a whole lot better most of the day, actually. Not most of the day. For the last couple hours. Anyway. I was starting to feel better, but I think I may be in the process of taking another downturn. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, we're going to go for as many hours of DDO here that we can kind of get away with. Couple of things tend to make me better when I'm not feeling well, and experience points is chief among them. It really is. So we're gonna try to do some shenanigans. Finally got your Patreon set up. Congratulations. It took me a long time to get my Patreon set up, and it's taken even longer to actually get it to the point where it feels like it's semi worth having. But we're finally at a place now where we're getting a few bucks a month out of it, so it certainly helps. One of the perks on my Patreon, I couldn't get a lampshade. I'm gonna have to change it, but I bought materials to try to make this hat. It's not gonna look right. It's gonna look stupid, but we're giving it a shot. Speaking of giving things a shot, I guess we're just gonna start with Madstone. It's fine. It doesn't really matter to me which quest. I like all the giant hold quests well enough. They're all good. Oh, sweet Samus Robo goodness. Also, the Stream Deck has updated, or is ready to update. Oh, look at there, it's actually working. So I have buttons on my setup to actually, no matter where I'm actually got focus set on, it'll go over and update into the Stream Decker. Or Stream Decker will automatically update the Twitch chat, which is actually pretty bloody handy. Except it seems like every other update it stops working. It is incredibly aggravating. Which means then I have a series of buttons programmed. Of all these buttons programmed to do different things, but I have a set of buttons programmed to actually type the command in and hit enter when it's done to put the various Samus Grobos and stuff in. So I have two different ways to enter the emotes, but I much prefer to have this one up and running, because then I don't have to worry about anything else, and I actually have access to more of my emotes this way than I do the other way around. It's pretty nice. I actually really like this Stream Deck when it works. When it doesn't work, it's a massive pain because I want it to work, but when it does work, it's pretty great. Look at these guys attacking me, shooting me, all sorts of nonsense. Nobody likes that. So anyway, a lot of the guys are playing Final Fantasy XIV now. They're enjoying, like, I guess a month of free play or something. And kind of fiddling with that nonsense. I've got stuff to do over here on... I guess we better start tagging this button. We got quite a few dots from things here. Hey, look at there, we got a heal. Yeah, there's multiple problems here. Is what's going on. That Demon Soul's tagging us. This Alright, well, at least that'll stop the dots coming in. Now we just gotta live through the dots that we have. Wow. I mean, look at that. We're taking 115, 119. Those are some big ticks. Those are big ticks. Now we're down to 3 dots. Now it's only 17. That's more acceptable. In the age of Aquarius, it's all good now. All good in the neighborhood. Anyway, hope you guys are in great shape. Said I'm dealing with my own migraine pain here today. I was listening to an interview, and I don't mean to put a political spin on anything right away, so I'm going to try not to. I was listening to an interview today with a certain individual who is in the hospital for gunshot wounds. And he was basically complaining that it hurts to breathe, it hurts to sleep, it hurts to move. And I'm just like, yeah, man, that's what we call being awake with those of us with chronic pain, except we typically don't have the advantage of having somebody pump us full of morphine in the hospital. It's crazy. I don't know. What I do know is I'm definitely going to try some of the medical marijuana stuff as soon as I'm out of Kansas and I can try it. The CBD oil helps sometimes, but often it does not get the job done. I can't go see the chiropractor until tomorrow if I'm lucky. Call and see if I can get squeezed in. I'm not going to be allowed to just insta-kill this guy, apparently. Lame. Yeah, I've had I think, so about 2 months ago, maybe a little more, about 2 months ago, give or take, my wife actually got a new supplement for me that I actually blamed on, basically my pain was a little bit better, I felt. It wasn't like significantly better, but it was a little better. But I couldn't sleep. Like I literally just didn't sleep. If I was lucky, remember I was complaining a lot during the window. I felt like if I was lucky to get 4 hours of sleep. That may sound familiar to some of you. Well, we were unfortunately unable to restock on that particular supplement. So, I've been without it for this last month, give or take, maybe a little more than a month. And I felt like my pain has actually been pretty okay. I haven't had any like big outbursts. And then but yesterday also was a big like weather phenomenon. So you really can't, like, if you hit one of your big triggers, can you really blame it? No, right? So I hit the big triggers multiple days in a row here with the incoming cold front, which is pretty much like my kryptonite. So I don't know if it's that or if it's something else. But anyway, I had like a pretty good streak of like 3 weeks or so without a major incident. Which for me is actually pretty good. Like that is very good actually, if I'm going to be totally honest. For just how my head normally fires things off. So, yeah, let's grab this level 10 Shield Guardian for no other reason than I want to have another body over here protecting this guy. So anyway, part of me wonders if it's the supplement. Part of me wonders if it's literally anything else. I just don't know. Like, it could be other things. It could be a million. I could have had the wife got this new brand of beef jerky, and it's like 9 carbohydrates a serving. And I wasn't paying very close attention to my carbohydrates or my serving size. I typically, when I get something like that, I try to keep it pretty limited to how much of anything like that I consume at a time. So I felt like I was doing a pretty good job. I'm keeping an eye on it, but I did have quite a bit of it over the weekend. So I wonder if I maybe went too deep in the carbohydrates as well. Like, I could have hit any number of triggers over the weekend. Like, I was out working on the bus without my sunglasses on most of Saturday, and it was very bright Saturday, so who knows. I don't think so. I don't feel like I overindulged in anything, but you know, I wasn't paying very close attention to the serving amount. You know, I probably had like 12 pieces of jerky. They're like little squares. Not even an inch by an inch, like maybe half an inch by 3/4, somewhere in that ballpark. You know, not big pieces. I probably had like a dozen. But if that was 9, say 9 to 10 carbohydrates, and then I had like basically my secret to carbohydrates is just to keep them way down and try to keep an idea of how much is going on. Like Saturday, I also had a portion of broccoli, which can be around 8 or 9 things of carbohydrates as well. So like right there, I could have easily hit my 20 cap, because that's what I try to stay under is 20 now. So it's easy. I mean, it's possible that I could have gone over. But honestly, I feel like it's probably just mostly triggered due to the incoming storm. Yeah, I currently am in a keep it under 20 carbohydrates plan, which is very, very strict. Most people tend to go way more than that. But like, also yesterday I had any day that I don't feel good, it's harder for me to stay on the narrow. I mean, I do my best, but who knows, you know? But like, my head hurts so bad, I'm nauseous. I don't know if you guys ever get that, but that is like the worst. In my opinion, it's right up there with the not wanting to move. It's high on my list. Like, I honestly feel like I could puke at any time. But it's not like when you're sick. If you're just sick, oftentimes if you just, in my experience, if you just puke, you tend to feel better. But I do feel like this is a thing that's going to help today. Yeah, I was doing carnivore for a long time, but I feel like, one, it's very expensive to do a good job on, and two, I feel like I need a little bit of roughage every once in a while. The keto that I was doing, I felt like was actually doing the most good for me, was the 90% fat, which is very, very hard in my opinion to maintain. And I should probably go back to it, but I can only eat eggs so many times a day, and cheese so many times a day. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really all that diet is. Eggs, 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 cheese. So I'm sure part of what's happened is I've just taken on a few more carbohydrates than I should be. Like, all these things are adding up to one of the worst weekends I've had in a while. But even this one is not in my top 10 of painful days, even in the last probably year. Oh, I forgot to talk to the idiot. Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna slap, what's his name over here as well. Put him on peaceful mode. Go back and talk to this guy. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm at that point where it hurts bad enough that I feel physically ill. And now I'm like trying to do stuff because I feel like I'm sitting around all day doing nothing because I don't want to do anything because it hurts to move, it hurts to talk, it hurts to breathe, it hurts to everything. Which is where I was watching that interview today and I was just like really annoyed at this guy. Because he put himself in that position. He knows the source of his pain. He knows why it hurts. And there's people out there like myself and others who they're in this painful situation and I'm going to see if I can get close enough to Durham that I can have Durham heal himself before. No, not to call him. Yeah, see, I was hoping to get close enough that Durham would block this path without these bad guys getting there. We'll see what we can do. Let's get this party started. Alright, so I want this guy intimidated on me. I don't want to kill him if I can help it. I just want him mad at me. Same thing with like as many of these guys as we can. I just want to get them shifted to be mad at me. As long as they're mad at me, they're not attacking the seer, and as long as you're not attacking the seer, I don't care if they're alive or dead. In fact, I prefer them. No, that guy's not going to stop. How about you? You're still attacking me, right? Durham's in trouble. Alright, let's just pull everybody up here. Set them on defend themselves kind of mode. I'm just going to start clearing aggro, I guess. We'll see if we can get things back under control. Alright, let's put these guys down here. So I think I got the caster annoyed at me. So if I can just keep everybody else kind of happy for a minute, we should be in good shape. Well, I said there's actually a lot of us out there that are struggling with this kind of stuff. There's not as much good research on migraines, especially the kind of migraines like I have. I know quite a few people who are dealing with consistent, persistent pain from other sources, and I empathize and sympathize. I get it. It's a challenge to, like I said, to me, the thing that bothers me, like, I had a broken arm when I was a kid for 3 days. Okay? I know what it's like to have unresolved physical pain, and then to be able to get it fixed. Right? And once it's back in place, or you know what kind of medicine that'll help fix it, or whatever, you can kind of deal with it, right? But to me, the part that really sucks, that I hate the most, more than anything, is no one's been able to give me an answer as to why my head hurts. Right? There's no answer. There's no good medication. Yeah, I can go see the hang on, I gotta finish putting these thoughts together. My chiropractor took a bunch of x-rays of my neck and stuff and actually found my C1 and C2 vertebrae moved. It's probably a lot to do with how I sleep and my size. But even those are just triggers for other things. So it continuously boils down to we can remove triggers, we can lessen triggers, but we still don't know why. I want this, not that. And until they can figure out why and we can fix it, then it really is problematic to me. And again, I'm not saying I need an answer right away, but I do know that that's the reason why people with these persistent cluster migraines are kind of given a low survival rate. I don't even know if you can call it that. Basically, there's a very high association of suicide that goes along with my particular diagnoses. Typically, after diagnosis, I was told by my doctor, my neurologist, that there's about a 5-year survival rate afterwards, and that's completely due to dealing with the pain consistently weighing you down every single day, and not being able to get relief. So I was diagnosed with this condition almost getting close to, I guess, 10 years now. So I certainly feel like I have beaten the odds in general. So now I'm just stubbornly refusing to go at my own hand, basically. But that does mean that I have to deal with unanswered questions. Yeah, they're called suicide headaches. That's correct. Some people who start having them, there's no relief. It's persistent headaches. So that's how it is. Like I said, at the very best, it's a massive irritation. Again, like I said, I compare it to having a broken arm, untreated for days. Except Advil doesn't fix. Like, there's no drugs that fix it. So I hear some of my other friends get migraines occasionally, and I think for them, when they get a migraine, it flares up, and they're like, it shuts them down, and I get it. But they can go back to no migraines. And I'm just insanely jealous. Because for me, it's the not knowing, not having an answer, and the consistent, all the time push. And then, so for me, when I get the flare-ups and they're worse than usual, it's where I start getting the dark thoughts. And that's where, like, Dungeons and Dragons or finding an escape in someplace else where I can distract myself is really helpful. How can you get so high HP? Well, this character has quite a few past lives. For one. 2, I've actually earned a reasonable number of Reaper points. The Reaper points are certainly a large factor. But also, it's just a matter of a relatively high constitution and the build. That name sounds really familiar. I tried a bunch of different things over the years, and I took about a year of something, and its chief side effect was memory damage or brain damage in that regard, memory loss. And I honestly don't know what it was called now, but I took something for a year that sounds like about it, and it completely shot my memory to the ground. But anyway, Entropia, I think that's how your name is pronounced. Let's see. As a barbarian past lives feat, you can stack up to 30 free hit points. So we have 3 fighter levels, 8 warlock levels. I'm trying to remember how many hit points. The fighters like 10. The warlocks I think are 8. Bards I think are 8. Yeah, like I said, I've not found a medication that does anything except for make me forget afterwards. Thanks. My wife has a couple of essential oil things that she uses that kind of helps take the big pain down some. And then I have a this is called Nature's Ultra Joint and Muscle Balm with CBD oil. I know it's super hard to see in the dark. But I found that if I can take this and apply it to the back of my neck, say if it's just like a normal day where the pain is like a 4, I can usually rub it on the back of my neck here, and it does help. It calms it down a little bit. But that is not going to help today. Again, today is not as bad as yesterday. And as long as I can say that every day for a couple of days, then we're on the right track. Anyway, Entropia, is there any specific questions I can answer? Or is it just the hit point question? Because we can talk some more about hit points if you'd like, and gear and stuff to look for. If that would be a beneficial topic for you. Distracting myself with other conversations is definitely a great way to help me take my mind off of things. So if you have questions, this is a great time to distract me with your questions. But as you can tell, we're taking like 35 points of damage a hit, which is a lot more than I was kind of hoping to be taking at this point. But we are in Giant Hold where the monsters do hit a little harder. They all are big old gianty boys. But that's why we have these hirelings, to take a couple of hits and be annoying. We also pick up temporary hit points from our aura, our Eldritch aura going off. Over here with Brilliance. Brilliance says every time your aura goes off, you're going to get temporary hit points equal to your Constitution score. So because our score is 38, that's where we're picking up these extra hit points. And then every time we cast a spell, we're getting more. That's this one right here, Feign Health. It's just hard to tell that we have taken, but we have. So we're picking up 88 points from that. Let's see, we've got some stacking hit points here. With the aspect of mineral. Greater elemental energy, that's giving us 20. These boots are giving us 10 or 15 because of improved elemental energy. Let's see, this belt right here is giving us 8 Constitution and 14 Insightful hit points. Thought somewhere we had. Oh, this is slotted with a Diamond of Vitality, so that's another 20 hit points that are stacking together. Yeah, that might be everything from gear. So 20, 40, 54, 60, 69-ish of our hit points. Nice, 69. Hit points are coming from gear. When we step outside into the Explorer area, you're going to see a hit point drop. Take an eye out for that. See, we dropped 300-ish hit points. And that's from the past lives. So, between level 16 and 20, you can get a maximum of 400 hit points out of the Reaper defense tree. So, that's... the more points we spend in this tree, the more temporary... or the more hit points we're going to get in Reaper mode. So that 90 plus the 30 from past lives plus regular stuff. Thinking about dipping your toes into Reaper. What would I recommend? Sure. First of all, don't be afraid. Especially if you're on the non-hardcore server, don't be afraid. The worst that can happen is you die. And you start over again. 2, always have a plan to recover. So I like to use a hireling. I feel like a hireling is a good good tool in your arsenal to learn how to use. Look for various ways that your character has to control the Reapers. I mean, we talked about how this build uses guard breaking and on point to basically control Reapers. Every character's got something. Clerics have sound burst. You might be able to... I don't know if they're stunnable. You can daze Reapers. So find out what your character can do. Elf, fighter, wizard, any good? Depends on what you want to do. It's probably okay. Hit points will be a little lower because you're losing your Constitution modifier. That's one of the problems with elves. The wood elf doesn't have a Constitution modifier. It doesn't lose con, but it loses intelligence. So that kind of makes it tough on the other side to be a elf. A wizard fighter. That being said, Eldritch Knight is a tier 1 tree right now. Going into a little bit of undead form is really strong. It's not a fighter, it's a wizard, and it's more of a caster setup than a melee setup. But you could do my build for a Pale Master Wizard, and you can kind of tweak it a little bit for some Eldritch Knight powers. I'll probably be doing a bit different Eldritch Knight type build, or a melee wizard build, muscle wizard, soonish, I think. People tend to vote those things in. for me, so I would like to try one again pretty soon. I have seen some good ones on the hardcore server. Just realize every point of Constitution does equal some amount of hit points. Whether it's whether it's 10 hit points, 20 hit points. Constitution scores matter. Alright, I think we can just walk over here and pull that and leave. Oh. Let's... Sorry, I'm watching my hireling move back and forth to this lever. Trying to figure out if it's going to let us through here. How did he get out? Okay, let's put Durham over here then. Hey Durham, you see that lever, buddy? You want to pull that lever for me in a second? There we go. Let's see. Good equipment for hit points. Depending on how new you are to Dungeons & Dragons Online, there's some pretty good equipment at different levels. The first thing that I recommend keeping an eye out for is a event called the Mimic Hunt. When you get the Mimic Hunt, you can make I forget what it's called. There's some sort of belt that you can make with the Mimic Hunt. I always recommend people get a level 4 version because you can use it so much on so many different builds. Like, until you get to level 8, sorry, not level 8, level 10, in my opinion, it's the best belt you can wear. So I tend to recommend that belt quite a bit. Once you get to level 10, things are going to change depending on what it is you're trying to do. If you have the Ravenloft expansion pack, which I recommend everyone get as soon as they can afford it, it's no longer everyone has it all the time. Until the start of this month through the summer, because of the pandemic, SSG was nice enough to basically unlock all the content in the game for everybody. So that is now no longer the case. They basically took that stuff back. If you had the opportunity to fire off the DDO free quest code before that got turned off, you got a massive pile of the content for free. But that does have an opportunity to be gone now. So I do recommend that you pick up the Ravenloft expansion. I'm not going to make any promises, but I imagine that it's going to be on deep sale around Thanksgiving. It might be the Indomitable wrappings. Hey, Thakar. And then at level... like I said, around level 10, you're going to want to check out stuff in the... in Ravenloft. There's some good hit point gear in there. A lot of sets do weird things depending on what you want to do. It's typically pretty good. I think I'm just going to hang out alone today, Thakar. My head is really bothering me, and I'm just poor company. I turn on the stream mostly because hopefully people will be able to distract me. But today is definitely a day that I could see myself losing temper at people for no good reason. Just because I hurt and I'm not in the mood. Let's see. At 15, there's a couple of really cool belts that become available. Yeah, I think that's taken care of. One in particular, I think I'm actually wearing it. I showed it before, this bronze dragon scale belt. This comes out of the Raven or the Sharn quest chain. And then if you have a little bit more time and energy and you can get people to do it, you can craft a shroud hit point item. If you're going to go that route, I would recommend a helm. The reason I recommend the helm, maybe that's not true. Sorry, I'm thinking. So, oh, I didn't even need to do this quest. What am I doing? Just randomly decided to redo this quest, I guess? Is that what happened? Okay, whatever. Yeah, sorry, Sharn. So what I'd recommend if you are going to build a green steel item is look at the Sharn gear and figure out what slot you're not going to be using the most, and then make that. So, with the exception of, I think the ranged builds, there's no Sharn sets that need a hat. There are no Ravenloft sets that need a hat. However, there are some Sharn sets that wear hats. And the Sharn hats are so good that you, yeah, you pretty much bend over backwards to get them. Care to compare my Pale Master builds to Fey Buckler builds for the hardcore, specifically which to use day 1 of hardcore to achieve all the hardcore goals. So if say this hardcore ended today and a new hardcore started tomorrow, and I had not just done a big Pale Master life, I would almost always choose the Pale Master Wizard to be my first character in the hardcore. Couple of big important reasons. Basically, it's one of the few ways that an arcane wizard can use his blue bar and fill up his red bar. Okay? You can be like a Warforged, but being a Warforged has its own advantages and disadvantages that I'm not really in love with going into details on, if that makes sense. But you can be a Warforged with a repair scrolls and stuff. Am I going to do Follow the Noob? I don't know. My head is really hurting. We'll have to see where it feels tomorrow. But also, the server downtime is supposed to go until 1 o'clock my time. So, we'll see. I guess they're doing a bigger maintenance tomorrow. 6 to 2. I think it's it's probably the last part of something. Let's see. Number 2 advantage of the Pale Master over Yeah, some sort of hardware maintenance. I think it's probably the last of their maintenance for a while. I know they had to do a bunch of stuff before they could... before they can put out the update. A bunch of hardware-y stuff. So the other advantages of the Pale Masters, you get fortification as early as level, the way I build them with the rogue level, as early as level 4. Because you need 3 levels of wizard to be able to take a Pale Master form. So the soonest you can grab fortification if you're not a Pale Master is going to depend on your items. So fortification early is very important on the hardcore server. You don't want to get crit to death. Number 3 advantage of the Pale Master is you pick up an awful lot of immunities that you do not have access to. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. All right. You end up picking up a lot of really good immunities as a Pale Master that the Fey Buckler will just never get. The other and final, probably the biggest advantage, is that at level 13 or like the level that your character turns on as the Pale Master really depends on you and what you're comfortable with playing. So like if you're really good at casting spells, your character will turn on earlier than say the Fey Buckler here. The Fey Buckler, in my opinion, turns on around last level, the level before maybe. You could, depending on your gear that you find, you can turn it on earlier. But it's far more likely that your character will... The jump in power that you're going to get at level like 12, 13, 14 is going to be bigger than the jump that the character gets here. Now that means that the survivability is going to be a thing. So advantages of the Fey Buckler over like the Pale Master Wizard. You're going to be much more useful to your party, right? On this build, it's just a fact. You're going to have mana to spare. You're going to have the ability to cast some healing spells, bard songs, intimidate. You're going to have a above average for a lot of characters, MMR, PRR, assuming that you can find some of the gear, get like some gear together. Do I just want to use a chime? Do I want to go back? We'll just go back. I'm not in a hurry. And you're not going to run into like weaknesses around a particular. So let me explain. A lot of Dungeons and Dragons online and a lot of the quests are filled with undead. There's a great many quests that either have undead as a major foe or sprinkled in a very substantial amount. Pale Masters do not get the opportunity to effectively hurt them in a very meaningful way until pretty late in their tree. And even then, you have to heal a monster before you can hurt it with negative energy damage. Some monsters never get the immunity removed, and you just always are healing them. Stuff like that. Oh, I guess I should also talk about the best thing about being a Pale Master. So go back to the positive side of Pale Master here. You get Randy. And Randy is just like bonkers. Down, down, up, down. Having a essentially a permanent hireling that doesn't take a character slot and pretty much it's pretty tanky. You have the ability to heal with your negative energy, like as a side effect of your own healing typically. It's very strong. It is a strong thing to have. Also, if you can get a group of Pale Masters, all your guys' like little healing works together. Boom, 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 boom. It can be quite effective at low levels. Okay, so back to the negative sides of being a Pale Master. I pulled it too soon. Come on. I know it'll go back down, it just takes it a minute. There we go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, negative things for the Pale Masters. So your spell pool is going to be low. We talked about the undead problem. There are going to be situations where other people are going to want to heal you, and if you're in your Pale Master form, you're going to take half. For some people, that's not a big deal, but for a lot of people, it is a big deal. So if you find yourself in a precarious situation, hit point wise or whatever, somebody goes to heal you, you're going to be in trouble. And since you're automatically like slotting a certain percentage of your spells to like healing yourself or in your preference, you're going to have a situation where you're not going to be as versatile in like your various options. So like for example, you automatically lose a level 4 spell to get the burst. You're probably automatically going to lose a level 2 and another level 4 slot because of the healing auras. You're automatically going to want to have what is it called? Necrotic Ray. That's a 6th level spell. Like, you're just going... Oh, this is bad. You're going to be incentivized to have certain... Yeah, see, that guy being a solar cruelty is not good news for us. You're going to be incentivized to have certain... We trip you? Nope. Alright, he doesn't have legs. So we had to beat him down. So your spellbook is like automatically essentially weeded down based on preferences that of the fact that you're being a Pale Master. Gear that interests you are going to be very specific in nature. So as as this build right here, there's a much wider range of gear that's going to be interesting to this build compared to like the Pale Master build. So like an interesting weapon that's still a swashbuckling weapon might might be interesting for me to check out, as well as like a couple of different schools of why are you taking damage? A couple different schools of elemental energy things and armor and yada yada yada. You're gonna feel like there's a more opportunity for you to find things or get things. So if you enjoy that aspect of the game, you're gonna have more perks than say if you're on the Pale Master version. The Pale Master, on the other hand, is going to have a very small subset of things that they care about. But they care about them very greatly. So you're going to be in situations where if you don't like to farm gear, right? If you don't, like say I'm not a big gear farmer, but I know that I need the belt, the undead belt. If I don't have the undead belt from Runes of Brez, Raven's Bane, I gotta sit there and try to get it. It's just the damage is not going to be there if you don't get it. Same thing with like the undead set from Sharn, Soul Survivor. If you don't get the set, the character is gonna really suffer. Now, that being said, there's gear that matters for whatever in the hell this build is called. The Fey Buckler. There's definitely important pieces of gear. For example, this Nightforged Stiletto. It's easy to get. Anyone can get one. You can go in that quest on casual, I think at level 9 or 10. You can farm one up, lickety split, not a big deal. Your other weapon comes from an explorer zone. Not a big deal. Farm it up, lickety split. You're going to get a lot of hit points. You're going to have great self-healing. You're going to have, even probably better than the Pale Master, self-healing. Plus, you're going to have the ability to reach out and heal others a whole lot easier. I'm just trying to decide if I want to Shrine. I kind of do. I want my boost back. So you're going to have the ability to heal others a whole lot more. You're going to have a much higher PRR and MMR at much lower levels. You won't have to worry about your hit point or your spell points. We mentioned that before. Yeah, I think it really comes down to what style of build you want to play on the hardcore. I would not necessarily say that the Fey Buckler is better or worse than the Pale Master build. It just depends on how you like to play. And if you're comfortable playing how you prefer your comfort level. So all that stuff being said, there's like a bunch of really interesting melee Pale Master Eldritch Knight builds. I think they're probably Capstone Eldritch Knight. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I meant to hit pull the lever, and I instead teleported him to me. This is what happens when my head hurts. I make bad plays. Misplays for days. Anyway, Titan says he scared himself coming home from work today. He was moving 70 when your car started fishtailing. Yeah, don't drive fast when you fishtail. It's not rocket surgery. Sounds like you've learned an important lesson. Well, it's wet outside. Probably means you need to check your tread on your tires, but I know you just got that car, so you should still probably check the tread on your tires. Oh. Yeah, they're a bit worn out. Yeah, it's probably what's probably needs some work. Are they rotatable to fix the problem short-term, Titan, or do you need to just save up and get tires? So, like, can you put the fronts in the back? It's also possible that they just don't have the right kind of tires for where you're driving. A lot of things could happen. Is this 2? Is this hit points? I guess it's probably hit points. We should probably go get hit points. More hit points are good. I hear hit points are okay. Excuse me. Good. Should be working as much as you can right now. A lot of people out there who are not hardly working at all. All right, let's check with you. Sure, I'll take a portable hole. And hit points. Nice. Nice. I don't know. Your boss, because it's still at that pizza delivery place, right? I would just assume that... Wow, I can't believe we've been... I can't believe we've been playing for an hour. We didn't do... I guess we did 3 quests. Yeah, I would I'd just be really careful to make sure that I get my paycheck and hold back my taxes. Make sure that my taxes are getting paid. All right, actually, I'm gonna take 30 seconds to use the restroom here really fast, put some water on my face, stuff like that. We're at a 30-second ad break. I'll be right back, everybody. Please hang out through the ad, mute the tab, whatever, if you don't want to watch the ad, or of course be a subscriber. You don't have to worry about the ad. Instead, you can watch my awesome empty chair, and I'll be back in 30 seconds. Hi everybody, sorry for the little bit longer break there than I planned, but it shouldn't have been too much longer. I'm reminded of a story back 100 million years ago. I still lived and worked in Great Bend. I was a manager at Wendy's, my local Wendy's, and it may have been my first migraine. I don't rightly remember exactly, but I remember wanting to go home because my head hurt so bad, and my boss took me back to the freezer, had me take my shoes off, and stand on the metal floor of the freezer. And he's like, "This is the trick that I use when my head bother, I get a bad headache or whatever." And it makes it where I can power through. Kind of chills your blood or whatever. He theoretically was talking about chilling your blood or whatever. I don't know. Basically, it is a good way to cool down. It is thin there, like your skin is thin. But I was standing in the tiled bathroom, and it kind of jogged my memory of him doing his best to try to share some wisdom. Probably should go take a cold foot soak later. It would probably be a okay thing to do. see how buggy it is. Maybe go give that a shot outside. I don't know. Have to just see how buggy it is. I don't know about everybody else who gets these headaches, but I tend to run extremely hot during a migraine. Extremely. Sounds like 250 horsepower is a little too much for you. Maybe. 250 horsepower. Yeah, I don't know. Said I've not had any problems handling anything that I've ever driven, but I'm not a guy who goes too fast. I've redlined some airplanes a couple of times, but I've never had a problem with a car. The handful of times that I have driven quote-unquote too fast are pretty few and far between. That's fine, I'm not worried about caps. It's pretty funny. There was a... I guess I don't understand the whole... Like, I know in theory the idea behind caps is that your caps is yelling or whatever. But... to me it doesn't really matter. Go on. Itchy my bloody eye. Oh, excuse me. All I know is the school bus has got like a zillion horsepower, but I'm hauling a lot of tonnage. Do a burnout on the bus, that'd be pretty awesome. It'd be expensive. Those tires are probably high dollar tires. Guys are gonna hit this rune for me, okay. Get it myself. Yeah, you had a little knob on the steering wheel. I always like those. Probably gonna get one for the school bus at some point, although honestly I ended up putting my hands so it's got the V shape, and it fit like perfect into my, like, where I wanted to just sit. I don't know if I like the seat long term. It's something I've been considering changing. But it's like $600 for a seat minimum. Just like, ugh. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I should definitely go check out a bunch of different seats though. At some point. Not yet. But at some point. I actually need these guys following me around right now. I will admit my head is thumping. It's gotten worse in the last hour or so that we've been playing. Which is not unexpected. See if we can get a trip off. No. Remember, if things miss us, there's a 20% chance that if they miss, they'll get knocked down. Could give us another opportunity to coup de grace. Oh, I don't have D-door yet. I thought I had D-door already. Lame. Let's go. Our trip is not very good. Yeah, I mean, knowing when to let off the gas is important. Is knowing when to put on the gas. I'm glad that you were safe. It is likely that somebody else could have gone differently for sure. Alright, so we locked down that Reaper for... Whoa! Apparently not at all. Huh, weird. I saw him get dotted with the stun. Maybe my aura woke him up? I don't know. It's fine. Deal with it. Oh yeah, we need to get back in our comfy spot soon. Anyway, we need to go back to talking about something distracting. I found a... it's one of the things that I like to watch on YouTube. Yeah, this will be not a way to make me sound like a massive pervert as I transition. So one of the things that I really am interested in as a Kansas man is fishing and living off of the wild, particularly off of the ocean. It's one of the things that I am actually really fascinated by. Yeah, sure. Some word, some phrase in there. So I found this channel called The Bearded Woodsman. This guy, he survives primarily out in the wild in Canada. Okay. Through him, I found another person called the One Wildcrafter. Through him, I found another guy called Ricky Ticky. Through him, I found another guy. I have not been watching him as much lately. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but I followed his channel. I've watched like 4 or 5 of his videos. And through him, I discovered a couple of lady fishermen off of the coast of Florida. And I have found my new favorite YouTube channels. There's something amazing about attractive young girls in bikinis, spear fishing, pole fishing. Basically, if it's in the ocean, they go and get it. They cook it, they clean it, they teach you how to cook it and clean it. Really enjoy a couple of these YouTube channels. So, highly recommend exploring YouTube channels doing like spear fishing. If you like watching people like swimming around underwater, like snorkel fishing, and spear hunting. Can confirm numerous hours of good time. Can confirm. And through her, this particular lady that I'm thinking of, I can't think of her name right off the top of my head. Let me look it up. Kelly Young. Through Kelly Young, she actually introduced me to another gentleman who does nothing but spear hunting videos, is what he said. So I'll probably be checking him out in the near future, because again, like I said, I love the idea of spearfishing, and I love the idea of for a long time I've been into, this is 12, yeah, just grab one of these things, feed it to this into Jim. For a long time I've been into various like survival-y slash sorry, I'm trying to put words together here. Survival and scavenging type things. I talked about how my favorite book as a child was My Side of the Mountain, right? Like one of my favorites. My Side of the Mountain, Journey to the White Mountains, etc. Those are like my favorite books. Books where people went off, survived on their own. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. I think. Oh, I do want this one. I do want Shape Vestments, and then we want to start working in Stalwart Defender. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, books. So I've been into those things for a long time, almost as long as I can remember. So now having YouTube really kind of gives you a new aspect of things. So like Gene Green and the I Eat the Weeds YouTube channel, that's a great one. Stuff like that. I don't need this. I need this. But anyway, again, attractive people in bikinis, spearfishing. 2 thumbs up from Samus. This had some slots on it, I would keep it. There are definitely lives where I would wear such an item. And you can tell because I think there's probably one just like it, but with slots in it that I crafted in my back. That one was dodge resistance though, right? Sure I'm not like actually wearing one right now. Alright, well somewhere in here there's one very similar to it. Okay, well, unfortunate, but I don't think I have too much... No, those are boots. I don't feel like I have too much more in me, actually, unfortunately. Kind of need to get laid back down into a comfortable position and get feeling better here. It's probably going to be this way for the next couple of days, and I just apologize for that. I'm going to be in and out of streaming. If I can, I might take an opportunity to record some videos with Remy instead. Just try to get some stuff going on that way, or in general. Don't. Oh wait, is this a name that I recognize? This name kind of rings a bell. Let me hit this button. Oh, they got a commercial on there. I don't know. Anyway, feel free to go out there and find somebody else to watch here. Unfortunately, I said I'm fading fast, so I'm gonna get out of here and take a break. Again, I apologize for the short stream, but I did say that when we started that it's probably gonna be a short one. If I get for the energy, I'll come back again tonight. If not, I'll try to come back tomorrow. Whatever. I'm just gonna try to stream and record videos in whatever chunks I feel like I can for the next couple of days till my head is more cooperative. Alright, everybody, peace, much love, thanks for all the help. As always, if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do me a solid, jump over there and hit that button. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. And speaking of subscriptions, if you'd like to help us out financially, but $5 and $2.50 of that going to Amazon's a little bit outside of the question. Patreon.com/Sam. This is a great way to support for as little as $1 a month, and then 95% of that goes to yours truly. Alright, everybody, thanks for watching again. Appreciate you. See you again as soon as I can.